All right. Good morning, Devils fans. We get another one in the win column, putting us up to 7-3-1 on the season, making us second in the Metro and third in the East, behind Boston in first and the New York Rangers, who are just 2 points ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the new boy here in Max Willman. I owe you an apology. I was not familiar with your game, as I don't think there was a single thing I could critique about Max throughout the entire 60 minutes of this one. I thought he played a fabulous bottom six role and game. Excellent on the defensive side, excellent on the offensive side. Drove offense, scored the nice breakaway goal, did not leak any chances really against at all. And yeah, I mean, he didn't get like the most time on ice or anything. It wasn't any power play or PK time, but when he was on the ice there, play was moving in the right direction, chances were generated. I thought he looked really good. He was point per game down in Utica. He's now point per game up here. If he can keep that kind of pace up, when we are fully healthy, again, this is assuming that he keeps up that kind of play over multiple games and it wasn't just that adrenaline pumping for your first NHL game in a while. I thought he looked really, really good. Again, there is not much I can criticize about him, so I just wanted to give him the shout out here at the top because I was impressed. I kind of said it in the preview that I thought he might bump down onto the fourth line with Tierney and Bastian. Tierney's been struggling in these last few games or so. Bastian has some really nice high moments and then some lower moments on the defensive side. And so I was not looking forward to seeing that line combo. Seems like the coaching staff does still like Holtz in that spot. Now, while they do get caved a little bit on the defensive side sometimes, Holtz really drives all the offense through him when the puck is in the O zone. Again, other than an occasional flash at a Nate there. So maybe that's why we want to keep that line together. But hey, Max, Holla, and Lazar looked fantastic. So I am not going to complain about the lineup choices there. Even if from the jump I thought, I don't know how he's going to make the transition. But I also did say that bottom six over in Chicago is not the greatest either by any means at all. So he's probably playing fairly similar competition down in the AHL than what Chicago is icing up here on their bottom six. So he feasted. He played very well. You love to see it. Would like to see how that continues to. Oh, my ring light went out here. Well, that died. We'll just keep going. So we'll just have to see how that continues to play out. Now, for the rest of the lineup, I'm going to go with Timo Meier here. So I got some negatives up at the front, but I will caveat that with I thought this was his best game of the season. He dominated in the offensive zone, multiple just taking over a shift, getting high scoring chances, hitting a post, barely making a stop against. Timo was absolutely electric. Now, the not so good side of that was I don't know if it's squarely on him on the first goal, but you probably could argue it is squarely on him for the second goal against. So we'll start with the first one. Again, he did start with Mercer and Toffoli at the start of the game. I criticized that line a lot for the defensive play after Jacket went down and it was very first put together. Well, the defensive blundered again. It's what kind of led to that Taylor Hall goal. Also give a shout out to Hall returning from injury. First game back against, well, not first game back, but first game back playing against the Devils. And so he scores, of course, right? That's going to do, Taylor Hall's going to do Taylor Hall things, especially against us. So it was a great shot by him, nice setup, but I think they might have gotten one more shift together, and I'm not even sure if they fully got that. The power play might have affected exactly how they wanted to jumble the lines. But essentially, from about halfway through that first period onward, Toffoli, Meier, Mercer did not see the ice together. Instead, they flipped Toffoli and Palat. So we then saw Toffoli, McLeod, Bratt, and then Palat, Mercer, Meier. And basically, since that switch was made, it looked great. Offense was going in the right direction. They basically dominated play from halfway through the first through the entire game, except for essentially the last 3 minutes, where again, it was kind of that Meier play behind the net where he tries to go around a Chicago player to get it to one of his defensemen. The play gets blocked off. They don't retrieve the puck, even though there's 3 of them on one behind the net there. Pass out to the front, down and off. Shot, save, shot, rebound, score. Yeah, wasn't the best. So I don't know if that is Meyer still learning his outlets and the safe part of the ice in the defensive zone within our systems, or kind of reverting back to what he knew playing in San Jose so much, or what that transition is. Because I really don't think he was a poor defensive player. I mean, he's not, Selke level winger by any means, nor do we need him to be. But I've definitely noticed in the defensive zone, Meyer does seem to have some systemic structural issues with where he needs to find himself on the ice and where his safe outlets are. So maybe that's just me reading the D zone systems play wrong on what the winger responsibility is. But that's just kind of been my interpretation of the play there. But like I said, I think this was his best full game, start to finish, and then even starting from about halfway through the last one was also really strong from Timo. So he has stepped up in a big way with Jack being out. I would love to see him keep that momentum going forward with no Jack because we need him to do that. Funny part is he has had no points in that stretch. I think it's been his actual best games from just actual on ice play. Most of his points did come from the power play or feasting off of Jack doing Jack things. And now he's actually stepped up to take over and dominate like he is supposed to. Just hasn't actually gotten the points. Some amazing stops from Binnington in St. Louis, hitting a post, and even some great stops here in Chicago. The goals are going to come for him at some point. You can just see it on the ice. Like he's heating up, he's ramping up. It's going to come fast and furious once those first few of them actually go in and he finds that touch. So great play out of him. Toffoli I thought was all right. Again, he had a few plays where he missed the net, had a couple stops against. He's not the play driver. I don't expect him or need him to be. So he doesn't have those flashy plays where he's transitioning up the ice or dancing and dazzling like Timo did on that one shift. He's more so there to get a puck to his stick, and he is the sniper that will put it in. He had a few close ones. They didn't go in. That's the life of a goal scorer in the NHL when you are not that, 50, 60 goal scorer type guy. Where Toffoli is, you're probably looking at 30. Best, if he has Jack all year long, I could see the argument for 40. So that is what he's here to do. No real criticisms outside of I had him in the defensive zone. He was with Mercer, but he looked a lot better being moved to McLeod and Bratt's line. But that's because McLeod and Bratt are just, oh lordy. That line, even with the switch offs, with McLeod bumping up, Bratt still dominates. With Palat switching off and moving up to Foley, that line still dominates. McLeod had a fantastic game again. He was rewarded with the empty net goal. Now, is he a true top six center like he's actually been playing? I don't think he has quite the scoring touch over a consistent 82 games to do it. But I think he has shown he can be he's an absolute third line center with the way he's playing. And we've been saying he's the best fourth line center for reasons. And he is taking his game to a next level. The increased ice time is not taking a step off of his engine, which is great to see. That is one concern you can see. Lower ice time engine guys tend to be able to just go full bull on that lower ice. If they get increased ice, they might lose some steam. Has not been the case yet with Mikey. And Bratt continues to just look fantastic. Yes, you're not going to get points or score goals in every single game, but putting the puck in the right way, controlling the ice when you're out there, limiting the chances against, you love to see that. So the top six as a whole, once that flip was made, which was nothing against the McLeod-Bratt line and Palat, it was really just that the Foley-Mercer-Timo line was yikes in their own zone. And once they really made that flip, the game fully flipped on its head. Chicago was playing very well, I think, through the first period. They got the first goal. Yes, we got the power play goal. Finally, Mercer. I didn't even name him yet. We're almost 9 minutes into this video. Mercer gets his first. I thought he had another great game. Still have some of my issues with him on the defensive side at 5-on-5. I don't know. Again, maybe it's just a switch now to center where he was playing well defensively as a winger. Kind of getting used to being at center again. Now, I know he has said that he is fine at either, but maybe it's just my eye test, or I'm being maybe a little too critical, or it's just a bit of puck luck here. Or maybe it's the Toffoli-Meyer effect that was making him look worse, and maybe he's in the right spot and the wingers aren't. I don't want to criticize too hard when I don't know all the intricacies here, but I thought he looked a lot better once Palat was moved to their line instead of Toffoli defensively, and I think it was obviously his best offensive night. Could have had 2, maybe even 3 goals, an assist as well. He had a really good one. You'd like to see that because when Nico and Jack are back and we are running on full no injury mode here, if McLeod and Holla and Lazar and Mercer and Willman are all firing on all cylinders, and that bottom six and the top six keeps going, which it will with Jack and Bratt up there, That's the lineup we were hoping for coming into the season. I think we are finally starting to see it take shape. It's hysterical that I'm sure every Devils fan will say, yeah, we have really not played our best hockey a single game yet this season. We don't have Jack and Timo right now, so who knows how that's going to go. And I mean, we really did just dominate Chicago, who are expected to be fairly bottom feeder teams. With the lineup we iced versus the lineup they iced, we were still the better team, like I said in the preview. But you'd like to see it when your top two centers are out. And we're third in the East with not even playing our best hockey. And so when everyone's back, we're fully healthy, everything's flying, that's what you want to see. Now, defensive side, I thought Siegenthaler had one of his best games. Marino had the offensive touch, and I think, generally speaking, had a lot of high quality chances that he was setting up in the other end. He did bleed a little bit of more low danger stuff, which you will definitely give up. That's not a huge problem, at least early on in the game. And then I think Luke and Smith had some of their lowest ice time, especially Luke, in recent games. I don't know if that was mostly because we were flowing. We had a lead for most of the game, so Luke wasn't getting that extra ice trying to push to either tie or get a lead. And so they were just kind of more so playing their more defensively responsible guys, you could say, because Luke did lose that stick. Again, we kind of have that big blunder that seems to happen every other game for Luke. And I'm telling you right now, I have no issue playing him 20 plus minutes nights, even with those every other game blunder that leads to a high quality chance against. He has still been amazing. So great game from all the guys. VTech finally can touch on him here. The save of the year so far. Now I will say I don't know if it was as hyped up as Bill was really making it. Highlight reel, right? I mean, it looks amazing, but the guy had to collect it on his backhand, reset it up to his forehand, and then kind of got like a half shot speed off. Still amazing save. I do not want to take that away from him, but that was probably not going to be a save of the year candidate when it's all said and done at the end. Just for the other factors, if that was a one-timer and you make that save, oh lordy, yeah, absolutely. But there was a bit of a lag time when the pass was actually sent over to the time the shot actually went off, where he did have enough time to make it over. But still, VTech, fantastic game, great stuff. You know, we still have those occasional breakdowns. The worst for a goalie is when a puck is in a scrum behind the net, gets instantly passed out front for a one-timer in the slot, like just a couple feet from the net. He made the initial save, rebound, and it goes in. You can't fault a goalie on that one too bad. So overall, a great game. VTech saved more than he was expected to. First period, he definitely kept us in a lot. We really took over halfway through the first, dominated the second, even if we didn't score. Basically dominated all the third until the very end. And I'll be honest, you play a game like that, and they still almost tied it up with the pulled goalie. They still were almost able to get it. I did want to touch on the short empty net goal that wasn't by Toffoli. That was basically as picture perfect-esque as you are going to get of play on a pulled goalie 6-on-5 from the defensive zone breakout, shielding the puck, pass to an open guy in the middle, empty net goal. He just needed to be a fraction of a second more patient in staying on the other side of the blue line, and that one would have counted. But hey, it got McLeod a goal, which is nice for him as well. It did get a little scary. Would have liked that first one to count, because after that they did get that one big chance, even two chances that VTech came up huge on. So overall, very solid game. Score probably overall dominant game. Was still closer than it probably should have, but you love to see it. The depth came in huge. You don't have your top two guys there, and everyone else stepped up. So not going to complain. Now we're going to have a big test on Tuesday. Oh, I want to touch on this before Tuesday. So we did get a little bit of an update on Jack. I probably could have started with this, but bring it in here. So he is officially week to week. And last time he was week to week with an injury, he only missed, I think it was 3, maybe 4 games. I think it was 3, either one of those. And came back, it was basically like a week, less than a week out, that he was back in playing. Now, I have heard through the grapevine from a little birdie that the actual internal timeline on Jack is going to be next Thursday. So that is just over a week. I believe that is only 3-4 games again. So that is not the worst. Now, it is going to be quite the game on Tuesday. 10 o'clock start. I am not watching that live. I will catch a replay in the morning. But Colorado just got shellacked by Vegas. I'm sure they're going to want to come out hard and heavy. I'm actually not off the top of my head sure if they play another game today or not before, or if they're on a back-to-back or not. But yeah, they got abused by Vegas, and they are going to want to step in and make a statement game. And if not their next one, if it's us or not, their next couple. So yeah, expect a hard game out in the Mile High Stadium. 10 o'clock start, travel. Probably don't have that Woolman adrenaline rush that's going to be going on, but I would love it if he keeps playing like that, man. Keep him up. Whew, fantastic stuff. And it's just going to be a much harder center matchup. Yeah, Bedard was there, but we did a great job shutting him down. McKinnon's a bit of a different beast right now where they're at in their careers. So, big game, big game. Honestly, I would, if we get a point out of it, that would be fantastic. But obviously, we're going to go for the win. I think with between Timo, Toffoli, and Brett, we still have the better overall depth. It's really just going to be what do Makar if he is healthy after that hit into the boards, if he is firing on all cylinders and all of that, how McKinnon does, how Rantanen does. And so should be a good one. Possibly we could see VTech back in net after a start like that. That does seem like they are swinging in the VTech as our starter instead of the true 50-50 split that they originally were set out and saying they were going to do. So we'll see who gets to start in net. But it's going to do it for this one, guys. Start of the work week. Bit of a day off. I doubt they're going to have a practice at all today just with the travel, so we probably won't get any more news until tomorrow. But we'll see how the day unfolds. So I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning, as always, and forever. Let's go Devils.